with a piece, oh lion. You little dibby dead, that jump and son boy, who had crowned herself king and spreading rumors in the champion sound. But now let them get you, as when killer like how come they don't flint kill another man.
Yeah. I have to admit, I have a real addiction to New York City. I'm not sure if it's because my mom was raised just outside the Bronx in Yonkers. I can hear her saying now. Home of the Locks, DMX, and Mary J. Blige, as she would often tell us. And even though she immigrated from the Cape Verdean Islands at a very young age, her accent was still clearly New York City. Or if the addiction came from the fact that I'm a 90s hip-hop kid and all my favorite rappers were from there, and they often reminded us in every song, video, and interview where they were from. It could be a combination of all the above, but even down to some of my favorite TV shows and movies like Hitch with Will Smith and King of Queens with Kevin James, and even back in the day, City Guys, where the main character shared the same name as me, Jamal. But they were all set in the same place, New York City. Yeah, rappers I monkey flip them, I'm kicking my composition. I know my haters listen, I feel some kind of tension. But cut the crap, the fact is cats just ain't no competition. Man, I've been shitting on them before I had that pot to piss in. That clock is ticking, but yo, that clock could be your opposition. Cause they been winning, but I've been close and I'm playing my position. My head is spinning and then I'm sick, this pen is my physician. This shit contagious, but on these pages I wrote a dope prescription. Don't overdose it, take that dosage till you finish it. The benefits is Brad Cooper, you moving, you limitless. No side effects unless you mixing it with the generic shit. Reactions differ, but that's depending on who you share it with.
New York City, and they say New York City. Just want to give a shout out to the station that we just did, man. We kind of got caught up in the on the subway and couldn't make it over to the station because there was some delays on the subway. So we actually did the phone interview, and the interview was dope. If you get a chance, I'm gonna post it. So if you get a chance, we're gonna check out that interview because it was really good, man. They asked a bunch of questions about everything: music, mentoring, coaching, acting, books, everything. But we in Manhattan right now, actually headed back to. Oh, let me get my Metro card out. Hold on. We headed back to Queens right now, which is wonderful because.
Speaking of the King of Queens, those that know me know that Nas will forever be my favorite rapper of all times. My cousin Issa Hawk put me on the It Was Written back in 1996. I was about 11 or 12 at the time, but I still remember the first words that I heard on that album. They were actually by the rapper AZ on the song Affirmative Action.
Sit back, relax, catch your contact, sip your cognac, from the soul wash, this money do this laundry mat, sneak attack, new cats and rap, words top dollar in fact, touch minds and I'll react like a rockwaller.
However, I ended up falling in love with that entire album. And even to this day, I can't play Black Girl Lost without hitting the repeat button a couple times. One of my favorite quotes ever, that I actually still use to this day when I'm mentoring high school kids, came from that album. A thug changes, love changes, and best friends become strangers. I soon found Illmatic, and you can imagine my reaction after being sucked into It Was Written, having the follow-up for me be arguably the greatest hip-hop album ever. And for those that don't know, Illmatic came out before It Was Written, but the order in which they made it to me were the other way around. And that made for a unique point of view that not many fans from my era share.
Yo, Nas, yo, what the fuck is this bullshit on the radio, son? Yeah. Hey, yo, Black, it's time, word. Bird, it's timing. It's time, man. Alright, begin. Yeah, straight out the fucking dungeons of rap. but fake niggas don't make it back. I don't know how to start this shit. Yo. Rappers are monkey flipping with the funky rhythm I be kicking. Musician, inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface, sniffing cocaine, holding an M16. See with the pen I'm extreme. Now
fast forward through the years, I never missed a Nas album. I never missed a Nas feature. I never missed any of his unreleased songs. I made sure no matter where I had to go to get it, I got my ears on any piece of audio that had Nasir Jones credited on it. Of course, this was at a time before it was as easy as it is today.
We out here, Queensbridge Projects, home of the illest rapper ever, Nasir. David out here, standing on the corner like we supposed to be here. I got so many rhymes, I don't think I'm too sane. Life is parallel to hell, but I must maintain. It's only right that I was born to use mics, and the stuff that I write is even tougher than dikes. The smooth criminal on beat breaks. Never put me in your box if your shit eats tapes. The city never sleeps, it's full of villains and creeps. That's where I learned to do my hustle, had to scuffle with freaks. And held deep like the words of my breath. I never sleep, cause sleep is the cousin of death. My phone going dead though, so I'm about to jump off this joint, man. And I want to get a nice little photo of the bridge.
But gone, spread it, I vet it, I got it, they get it, they ready or not. I lift it to get it, delivered, it's getting too heavy, I drop. I'm hitting the target, the market is flooded, I know where the art. I advise y'all get up on it. It's a good thing that when this music hits you, you feel no pain. I know they dig it, I'm from the trenches and like the slaves I sang. Everything gon' be alright, and every night I'm praying. I need my time up in that game, but listen, I'm not playing. So we gon' ball until we sprain or there is no more games. Bob your head whether you bald or all your dreadlocks swing. If you on that Marley, probably could light up to this shit, it's so flames. It's a good thing that when this music hits you, you feel no pain.
Greensboro Plaza. Transfer is available to the 7th train.
So I did it because of your mother. That's why you did it.
During those same years, I grew into a rap artist myself. Even though I was already writing raps when I was 12, when my cousin Issa and his little brother Joey had convinced me that I could. I say I became an artist because it was those years I began writing songs in an album format. As a sophomore in high school in 2001, I released an album, made copies, and filled my locker with merchandise to solicit during the school day. Students, teachers, and even one of the assistant principals had a copy. From 2003 to 2013, I got busy. I recorded several albums, mixtapes, hosted my own radio shows. I started acting both stage and film. I even wrote a book. During those same years, Nas continued to release albums from Street's Disciple to the Untitled album. Each one kept me fueled as I continued on my own journey. Each year, my fan base grew, and so did my experience and my opportunities. But in 2017, the term level up took a whole new meaning. In the few years previous, I released several projects that my listeners deemed to be classics. Microphone X in 2014 and Microphone Ali in 2015 were both the perfect setup for the album I released in January 2017, Microphone Jackson. And with new representation from David Collins for Collins Boy Music Group, I knew 2017 was going to be special. I met David Collins at a show during the time of Microphone Ali. He told me simply, I have some family in the music industry and I want to help you get there. It wasn't until several weeks later that he had mentioned that his family in the industry was one of the greatest rappers of all time, Nas. After Microphone Jackson was released, it quickly became evident to us that this was the album that would reach the industry. At South by Southwest in Texas, Cassidy heard me performing Skin off that album and came all the way up to the front of the stage to acknowledge me with his right fist extended towards me. In one of my first trips to New York City that year, we sat down with the legendary Ron G, where he said,
Microphone Jackson. We're going to get into that because I want to know how you come up with that concept. Microphone Jackson, Illmatic.
A few months after that, I opened up for AZ in Baltimore, where I was personally introduced to him and introduced him onto the stage.
AZ, y'all make a whole lot of noise right now for a legend. Make a legend feel welcome. Come on, make some noise. Make some motherfucking noise. When you know when you eating legal, trade niggas never spoke, now it's peace to see you. It's the difference how the sisters treat you, please the people. You think I was a thief?
I could feel all the puzzle pieces falling into place perfectly. And then September came. September 14th, 2017. David and I had a meeting arranged in New York City at Jungle City Studios that we had to reschedule on late notice. We were already in the area, and Nas and Miss Lauryn Hill's tour was scheduled to be in Camden, New Jersey that night. So David said, in a familiar tone, "We're going." September 14th is also Nas's birthday. I knew that, but I calmly changed the GPS and drove to Philly to chill till showtime. Once we got into the show from the back entrance, we patiently waited for Nas to come off his tour bus.
Backstage right now, Miss Lauryn Hill and Nas. Nas on the bus right now, getting dressed, getting ready to come out. You know what I'm saying? Just want to show y'all around real quick. It's about to be lit in here. Yeah, we here. Lauryn, Nas, it's going down.
I was sitting with my back turned to the entrance, but facing David. He and I were talking when his face lit up, and he was distracted by somebody over my right shoulder. When he stood up, I stood up. I turned around, and Nas walked up to us with his hand out for dap. I dapped him up, told him happy birthday, and he kept it moving because it was time for him to get on the stage.
Listen closer, you can hear Lauryn Hill back there rehearsing. Talking to my snappers. You hear Lauryn back there.
They're okay.
Thank you. I like that.
That's Lauryn back there warming up.
After he and Miss Lauryn Hill killed the stage, the small entourage of people he was with, along with David and I, walked back to his dressing room. Somehow I got left outside the room, and the security guard, doing his job, asked me to wait outside the door. A moment later, the door opened up and Nas made eye contact with me and waved me in with a face like, "Man, what you doing?" And the only thing I could think to say was, Man, I came up listening to your music. He looked at me and said, oh, word? That's what's up. Then we continued a conversation where I told him I have Illmatic on vinyl and I wish I had it with me for him to sign. The conversation continued even into him acknowledging that he had seen my promo video for Microphone Jackson. But I didn't want to turn his birthday celebration into an opportunity for me to throw my music at him. So we chilled, chatted a little bit, took some pictures and video, and even sung Happy Birthday along with Lauryn Hill and Charlie Mack.
God bless you. Hey, may God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. Now the back version. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Let me hear you say happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. One more time, y'all, for real. Come on, let's go. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Okay, Smith, where's y'all hook this up? Lauren, could me and I get a photo? I need this for hip hop, right?
Ooh, Lauren in the building. Miss Lauren.
Come on, Wesley. Take that one. Put your plane in the middle. Put your plane in the middle right there. Here we go. Right here. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's hip. What? I had Doc in the side.
We gotta get you.
This is major right
Alright, we gotta get up.
Watch that.
I met Nas again 2 more times after that. Once when he came to Raleigh, North Carolina, and then again in Atlanta for the A3C Festival, where I was a performer and he was the main headliner. One of the most memorable moments for me was after the last night of the festival in the Gold Room Club in Atlanta. I was walked into his VIP section and brought up to the table to join him, along with David, C-Notes, and Shred. When I stepped up to the table, he raised his glass towards me to acknowledge me. That moment still seems surreal.
Come out 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever the hell time it is right now. You get a good old slice of that New York pizza for $1. Not even no tax on that thing, baby, just $1. That thing slamming except it burned the roof of my mouth. One thing I like to say, man, one thing that I've definitely noticed in life, and I think people of a certain age or been through a certain, been through certain things in their life, you realize that no matter what happens, positive or negative, things always happen the way they're supposed to happen, when they're supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that it goes. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen, and why it was supposed to happen. Nothing is by mistake. Nothing. No success is by mistake, and no failure is by mistake. But it's just funny to see how all those pieces add up and connect the dots, man, to make one picture. You know what I'm saying? To make one final product. And you really don't even know when that final product is really made. You just keep working, you keep painting, keep drawing, keep living, you keep walking, keep your feet moving, and things begin to happen. It's been a very good, very, very, very good run for me for a long time through music. Those a lot of people know. Some of the people chimed in right now know that this didn't just start yesterday, it didn't just start last year, it didn't start 5 years ago, it didn't start 10 years ago. That's kind of when you go back to knowing that everything happens when it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen, why it's supposed to happen. Even if it's nothing. If nothing happens, nothing was supposed to happen when it happened. I mean, that's my jewel for the moment. Hold on, I gotta post up real quick and eat this damn pizza.
So as I sat down to write the introduction to the album that would follow Microphone Jackson, Microphone Marley, I had a lifetime of inspiration flowing through me, topped off by the experiences and memories that I had made that current year. I wanted to paint a picture of my experiences without being extra and just bragging about what everybody on social media had already seen. So when I wrote the first line of the song, I just paid homage by quoting rappers I monkey flip 'em from his legendary song, New York State of Mind. I titled that intro, Champion Sound. That song brought my New York state of mind full circle. What I thought was an addiction was just the state of mind I was in from my influences that I'm sure began with my mother and her stories and continued with Nas's lyrics, Alicia Keys' musicianship that I admire, and anything that I had seen associated with that city. However, nothing quite accurately explained being able to start the second verse saying,
real recognize Rise. Y'all can go and ask Nas. I don't know why y'all surprised. This the plan I devised. I advise y'all get on my side while there's still a little time. Man, I've been grinding out over time and now I'm popping open like wine. Yeah, I'm humble, but in that jungle, I was walking with lions. New York City, the home of Biggie, sitting down with them giants. In them projects, making progress, never dealt with no violence. Just in case shit wasn't straight, still kept a couple of those irons. Ready to cock 'em, steady we rockin', weighing my options though. My shit is poppin', I got 'em watching, but I'm in Gotham, so I know these jokers is probably thinking that they can stop me, bro. Word to Selassie, Aki on these tracks, I'm trained to go. I made it though, I go for broke, but I never made a million. I show them children how to fish and I let them see me reelin'. It's food for thought, I brought its fruit and yo, it's so appealing. The only Adam and Eve in Eden could know what's sweeter for them. Good thing that when this music hits you, you feel no pain. I know they dig it, I'm from the trenches and like the slaves I sang. Everything gon' be alright, and every night I'm praying. I need my time up in that game, but listen, I'm not playing. So we gon' ball until we sprain or there is no more games. Bob your head whether you bald or all your dreadlocks swing. If you on that Marley, probably could light up to this shit, it's so flames. It's a good thing that when this music hits you, you feel no pain.